Hey, Keefe, Metro Police, come over here. Hey, Metro Police, come over here, all right? Thanks, buddy. Come on over here. Appreciate your cooperation.
Case that no one ever expected to be solved is, of course, a huge step closer to being solved. The arrest in the Tupac Shakur murder 27 years later really shocked everyone.
27 years after his killing, Duane Davis, a man long known to investigators, in court charged with...
Nearly 30 years after the passing of one of the most influential artists to ever grace the hip-hop industry, Tupac Shakur's unsolved murder case has taken a new twist as a popular gangster, Keefe D, has been arrested as a prime suspect in the crime. The entertainment industry has been shaken by this news, but not for this reason alone. Rumors are now surfacing about the emergence of several artists from Bad Boy Records to testify about Diddy's involvement in Tupac's end. You won't want to miss the full gist. Dive in as we share this and more in this video. On September 29th, Duane Davis, popularly known as Keefe D, was arrested and charged with the murder of Tupac after a grand jury indicted him. Police say Keefe D was involved in Tupac's murder and supplied the item used in the shooting. Suge Knight, the former music mogul, who was present in the car when Tupac Shakur was shot, has reportedly broken his silence regarding the recent arrest. The former CEO of Death Row Records, who is currently serving time in prison for voluntary manslaughter, openly shared his thoughts on the arrest and the possibility of cooperating in the trial. In an interview with TMZ, Knight revealed his own side of the story and his potential involvement in the upcoming trial. He emphasized that there were only 2 people in the car and implied that Pac would not be able to tell the full story. There was only 2 people in the car, and Pac's not going to be able to tell the story. I ain't going to tell the story, Knight said. This revelation stirred significant public interest, especially given previous claims that there were 4 individuals in the car with Tupac at the time of the shooting. When TMZ asked for his perspective on Keefe D's arrest, Knight seemed taken aback by the development. He was very clear in expressing that he hadn't anticipated Keefe D's arrest. Let's get one thing straight first and foremost. Me and KD played on the same Pop Warner football team, and whatever circumstances, if he had an involvement with anything, or if he didn't have an involvement with anything, I wouldn't wish somebody going to prison on my worst enemy, Suge Knight said. According to the district attorney, Keefe D was allegedly in the car with his nephew Orlando during the tragic incident, with his nephew being considered the alleged shooter of Tupac. However, Knight's account significantly differs from this narrative. He insists that only 2 individuals were in the car that fateful night and chooses not to provide further details about the incident. When asked about his reluctance to testify, Knight elaborated on his stance, emphasizing that he would never willingly testify against anyone, regardless of their involvement. He stated that he wouldn't wish a prison sentence on even his worst adversary, firmly committing to not divulging any information about the incident. Knight's decision to abstain from testifying and his cryptic statements regarding Tupac's shooter have added another layer of complexity to this ongoing mystery. Many have tried to interpret the meaning behind Knight's words, but to no avail. In his own words, "I'm not going to get on the stand and testify. 1,000%. I wouldn't go. I wouldn't testify, none of that. At the end of the day, free Keefe D."
What your reaction is to the arrest of Keefe D?
Well, surprise number one, because I didn't think Keefe D would never get arrested. Nor do I want to see him.
Considering everything, Knight's decision to abstain from testifying or cooperating doesn't come as a surprise. With his expected release set for 2034, approximately 11 years away, safeguarding his reputation within the prison system becomes a paramount concern. Getting involved as a witness or cooperating in any way could potentially complicate his standing among fellow inmates. So, it appears that he had chosen to prioritize his long-term situation behind bars over any involvement in this high-profile case involving Tupac's shooting. While there are speculations that Knight is protecting his reputation, there are also rumors that his decision not to testify against Keefe could potentially cause trouble for Diddy because he is unwilling to accept Orlando was involved in Tupac's shooting. But I tell you this, I never had anything bad to say about Orlando. He wasn't the shooter, Knight said. Knight's remarks align with those of a witness who testified in the weeks leading up to Keefe D's arrest. This witness asserted that Orlando Anderson was not the one responsible for the shooting. According to their testimony before a Las Vegas grand jury, it was DeAndre Big Dre Smith who allegedly fired the shots at Tupac. Smith was reportedly seated in the back seat of the car during the incident, with detectives believing that Anderson occupied the seat next to him. Keefe D, along with another individual named Terrence Brown, were seated in the front of the vehicle. Keefe D stands as the sole surviving suspect in the case, alleged to have masterminded the attack as an act of retribution against Tupac. This was in response to Tupac and his entourage confronting and assaulting Orlando in the lobby of the MGM Grand in Las Vegas on the night of September 7, 1996. Hours later, at the intersection of East Flamingo Road and Koval Lane, a vehicle pulled up alongside Tupac Shakur in Suge Knight's BMW sedan, and a barrage of bullets was unleashed. The rapper, known for All Eyes on Me, sustained 4 gunshot wounds, while his label boss was hit in the head by a bullet fragment. With Knight's decision not to testify, some are now considering Diddy as a prominent remaining suspect. Meanwhile, Tupac had publicly accused Diddy of having prior knowledge of the shooting, which the latter denied. This development adds intrigue to the case. So, with these speculations, several of Diddy's adversaries are testifying against him. The first individual reportedly testifying is Wack 100, a prominent hip-hop manager who has recently garnered substantial negative attention for controversial statements. One of the popular controversies Wack 100 was involved in was his statement about Nipsey Hussle's tragic death, suggesting that Hussle hadn't achieved legendary status due to a limited body of work. What's a legend? Define a legend, Wack asked. Keep it real. If Dr. Dre died right now, we would say that we lost a legend, right? Based on what? Numbers, right? Body of work. How many albums did Nipsey drop? 1 album. This not no personal crap I'm talking about. This just some real crap. We have to define what the F a legend is.
He's a legend. I feel Game's a legend. I feel Jay-Z's a legend. I don't listen to Eminem, but
This didn't sit well with Hussle supporters. Some fans decided to attack Wack for his opinion. Wack 100 remains resolute in his perspective on what defines a musical legend. Now, Wack 100 is employing the same alacrity he used on Nipsey Hussle's issue with the arrest of Keefe D. He discussed how this development could potentially affect Diddy and the ongoing legal saga surrounding Tupac's death.
Daddy's somewhere on himself right now.
Oh, that's why he's been given. He probably knew about this coming.
On hearing about Keefe D's arrest, Wack 100 announced on his Instagram, Las Vegas police arrest a man on suspicion of murder in 1996 drive-by shooting of Tupac Shakur, AP sources say. Then he captioned the post with the following: bad boy, what you gonna do? With the music emoji. You all know the bars. During his podcast, Wack 100 speculated about Keefe D's motives and the possibility of implicating Diddy to secure his release from jail. He also expressed skepticism about the effectiveness of such a strategy, given the age-long beef between Diddy and Keefe D. The conversation shifted towards the prospect of Keefe D going to trial and his chances of beating the charges. Wack 100 discussed potential strategies Keefe D might employ, such as claiming he was paid to make certain statements, casting doubt on the credibility of such a claim. If Keefe D goes to trial, he might argue that he was paid to say certain things. It's a risky strategy, Wack 100 explained. He's like Nino Brown from New Jack City. He said that if he goes to jail, Reggie R needs to go to jail too. Besides Wack 100, another artist hinting at Diddy's involvement in the murder of Tupac is Maze, a Harlem native who was signed to Bad Boy Records during the 90s, and likely aware of Keefe D's long-rumored connection to Diddy and the label, feigned ignorance of the suspect's identity. Wait, where do I know that name from? That name sounds familiar, the 48-year-old mockingly asked co-host Cameron and guest Bubba Dub. Maze didn't reference any names directly, insisting he was honestly clueless as to the root of his recollection. No, for real, I don't know what you're talking about, Maze responded when pressed by Bubba Dub, who gave a blatant hint at whom the artist was alluding to, saying, "bad boy," in a cadence similar to the mogul while imitating his signature dance. The saga surrounding Diddy, Keefe D, and the unsolved murder of Tupac Shakur is far from over. With new revelations emerging and old wounds being reopened, the truth remains elusive in one of hip-hop's most enduring mysteries. What are your thoughts on the video? Let us know in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Check out our other videos. You'll love them.